Can you believe that we're already at week 7 in our Principles of Adult Education course together? My goodness, the time is going by quickly. So this week is going to move us to our Day of Lifelong Learning project, and we're going to focus almost entirely on that project. So we've moved the date. I know it's been kind of disconcerting for some that we've moved the date from the 22nd, tomorrow Monday, to the 24th, which is Wednesday, and it's at midnight that the Day of Lifelong Learning project is due. So we want to, that means it's due to submit to me, and it's due to post as you would your discussion in the forum. So this time for your discussion in the forum, you're going to post your Day of Lifelong Learning and your thoughts about it. So your 4 to 5 questions will be based on your thoughts on your Day of Lifelong Learning project. So we have discussed last week self-directed learning and spent some time in the forum talking about our favorite laws of Maurice Gibbon's 12 laws, and that's been very, very interesting, and I've really enjoyed the law that resonated most with you, and I like them all. I find, as a matter of fact, you saw my PowerPoint on his laws, and I find them almost poetic, that they really speak to me. So I'm hard pressed to select a favorite. For moving now to Day of Lifelong Learning project, some of you may have already submitted, I haven't checked yet, but let's just go over what we want to do with our Day of Lifelong Learning. So what we're talking about here, and really the reason that we're doing this in the first place, is we want to have an opportunity to really cement the important concepts that we've been talking about with regard to the types of adult learning, the formal, non-formal, and informal. So let's just go back over what we view as the definition for each of these with respect to this course. So formal, if you recall, we're defining as, and this may be slightly different than our textbook, but formal, as we're defining it in this class, is a course like this, that's degree seeking, that has a syllabus that you're going to be evaluated on, get graded on, and that you will receive a final grade for, that will be posted to a transcript toward a degree. So degree seeking is formal learning. Non-formal learning would have possibly a syllabus, perhaps not as robust, but definitely follow a format, follow an agenda, and there would be probably some form of evaluation, just as check in and see how well you're doing, but it would be not for a degree. But it could be for certification. It could be for very important kinds of learning, but not for a degree. It can be also for fun kinds of learning. So things like Dutch oven cooking, or learning that would be toward maybe how to do toll painting, or how to make a souffle, if it is going to be evaluated. If it's something that you are doing with your neighbor, for example, if you are learning how to paper mache balloons in order to make ornaments for Christmas, and you and your children are doing it together, and you're following a YouTube video, that's informal learning. If you're going to a yoga class and there's no particular agenda, there might be in the mind of the instructor for that day, that's still informal learning. You're not, it's something that you are doing for yourself, but there is no start to finish goal for achievement and in the course, if you will. So non-formal is non-degree seeking, but definitely has a goal and will have some sort of an agenda and some kind of an evaluation. Informal takes two different forms. One of them is just what we happen upon by happenstance or serendipity in our everyday lives. And that's called incidental learning, informal incidental learning. For example, you might learn that the road that you normally take is closed. Well, that's incidental learning. You did not intentionally, purposefully seek that learning. On the other hand, the learning that we've been discussing all of this last week, self-directed learning, is informal learning with an agenda. We intend to learn something. We intend, as one of us is, to take a vacation to Hawaii next summer. And so we have been, so this individual has been self-directedly been planning his vacation to Hawaii and seeking resources in order to do that, and identifying how he will spend his week and things his family will do. He has an agenda. He also has a purpose, and that is and he's seeking resources himself, and that's informal learning. So self-directed and incidental. Formal, degree seeking. Non-formal, with an agenda but non-degree seeking. And informal is self-directed, purposeful, or kind of serendipity, incidental. So those are some of the things we're going to include in our day of lifelong learning, whether the learning is formal, non-formal, or informal. And 2, we're going to discuss the assumptions of andragogy and whether our learning is taking advantage of one or more of the assumptions. We'll discuss the traditional learning theories and whether our learning is aligned with one or more of the traditional learning theories we've discussed thus far. Certainly it won't take into account any of the learning theories that we've yet to discuss, only those we've discussed already, and how we will use self-directed learning in our lives. So for our Day of Lifelong Learning project, we're going to keep a time log over a 24-hour period. Now, I would not suggest trying to do this for every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, but really just looking at blocks of time, maybe half an hour, sometimes even an hour, that you are doing one specific thing during that time and the kind of learning that you are doing. Notice that there are times in our lives when we're actually not learning. If you're in the shower and you're singing away, you might not be learning something new. If you are listening to the radio and it's just background for you while you're driving to work, you might not be learning something new. So in that case, you would just say what you're doing and indicate this is not a learning period for you. So those things would be recorded too, but not indicated as formal, non-formal, or informal learning. I also want you to indicate whether you are the teacher or the learner in your learning. Indicate whether your teaching or learning is formal, non-formal, or informal, and we've got the definitions right here. And finally, answer the question, what do you now think about your adult education and adult education overall? And what do you think about lifelong learning? So we don't really have additional readings for this week. I want us to really focus on our Day of Lifelong Learning project. So we've got our next quiz, knowledge check, that is going to open over chapters 4 through 6, and that we're going to move to a different time in the week. We're going to move to Friday through Sunday. So rather than beginning on Sunday and going to Monday, we've changed this now. This is a change. We're doing Friday through Sunday. This is as a request from some of you, and we'll make the time different. 5 a.m. closing on 5 p.m. on Sunday. Okay, so activities. Our participation is again our Day of Lifelong Learning, and that will end our week. I will change these. These are not what we will do, except how you apply your Gibbon's Laws perhaps in your Day of Lifelong Learning. And that will be in the forum. I will actually move our submittal, our portal, to this week so that we can post the Day of Lifelong Learning in week 7. I am looking forward to them. See you in the forum.